All right, welcome back everybody. We are going to be looking at this photo. Darren and I are comparing our edits with this photo of this girl and these balloons here. This is the after and here is the before. Now I'm kind of cheating on this one. I already did the edit, but I want to break down what I did exactly and show you how I went from this to this. So of course I go straight down and I always do the enable profile corrections. Oh, and I didn't even do remove chromatic aberration this time. So I'm going to do that. And you can see on the top here that there's not many edits. I mean, I took down the highlights a little bit. All right, just a wee bit. And then I brought up the shadows by like 60. All right. But other than that, like that's it. So what did I do to make all of this like this? Well, it's all in the masks. So let's go through the masks. You can see here I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different masks. Let's start with the top one. Actually, I'm going to start with the bottom one because this is the select sky. You can see it has a little landscape image there. That just means select sky. So I just selected the sky and I brought down the highlights a little bit more, brought up the whites to make them brighter, right? And I put some texture, not texture, but some clarity in the clouds. You can see what the difference looks like. Just a little bit. It's so subtle, so subtle. And the dehaze, you can see right there, a little bit of dehaze, right? I did bring up the magentas because it was a little too green for me. Not even green, it looks a little bit too cyan, like too Instagrammy. So I brought that back to some more natural blues, what you would actually see or what it looked like that morning. And then I bumped up the saturation, you can see, so actually, like I don't mind that, but I think this is more attention grabbing. I like I said in the last video, I like color, I like saturation, so you always see my colorful photos on mine. Now the next one I did was this select subject right here, and you can see I just brought her exposure up, and I do see a mistake here. If I click on this little dot, it'll show me what the mask is doing, and you can see it highlighted part of the sky here. So underneath her mask, I'm gonna hit minus, brush, make sure that auto mask is on, and then take this part out. Let's do that real quick. Okay, and there's a little bit here. I'm gonna make this smaller. Take this out. There we go. Getting these little corners here. I highly recommend the auto mask for this, otherwise it's going to go over into her arms. Auto mask is super convenient, super smart, super intelligent, and very helpful. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to unclick that and you can see what that's doing. I'm going to delete it so you can see the difference. So it's just a subtle, just making her brighter. I can even add some contrast because I don't know if you saw, but it makes her a little, it makes her a little bit hazy. I'll show you. Bringing her up. I think it just makes her hair a little bit hazy. So I'm going to add like 10 contrast here. All right. Now the ground is what looks completely different. You can see the before and after. Like the ground was really brought back. Like it has now. It has like some light on it. And you can see all I did for this was a linear gradient. Right here, linear gradient. And then I did the minus button and I deselected the subject. That way it takes her out. Otherwise the gradient would affect her. Now what you can see here is I warmed it up. You can see that really changed everything. Like look at the difference there. From boring to nice and orange. Brought up those whites and exposure just a tiny bit. And that's it. It was really the color temperature that made a dramatic effect for this one. And then what else did I do? I have just a general exposure, making this whole area brighter. And you can see the difference. That is a huge difference. Boom, right? It kind of brings your attention just to this whole area. And I don't know if you saw the last video, but I really like these, what do you call them? Radial gradients. I love radial gradients, and you can see the difference. All right. I feel like this is too obvious, like that. So I made it a little bit bigger and kind of brought everything in. And the last thing I did, this is not a complicated one, but a little bit. So again, I did a select sky. You can see right here. Sorry, right. No, I didn't. Okay, so this is a little bit complicated. So I took this one. Okay, this is the sky, right? And you can see that it did a really good job of not choosing the balloons. And then I went in there, and here's what I did. I did duplicate and invert. And what that does is you can see now I have the balloon selected and then the rest of this. Then what I did, you can see here, I did the minus linear gradient, and I chose from all the way up to the tree level here, up to the horizon. And then I did the minus subject. So all it left me with were the balloons. And I did some stuff to the balloons here to make them brighter. You can see if I delete this mask, the balloons, it's subtle, but something has been done, you can see. And what I did was brought up the exposure a little bit, brought up those highlights. I just wanted to make them brighter. You can see the shadows, whites, clarity, and saturation were all brought up. I just wanted to make them more apparent. Yeah. So let me delete this one because it's just a, oh, wrong one. This one, that has nothing on it. So yeah, that's it. You can see I went through all my masks here, a lot of masks. And that's pretty much the whole photo. If I go back to the normal settings, I usually mess with saturation down here. I always raise the blues to around 20 to 25. You can see it just makes the image pop more. It makes the oranges, it makes the blues, it just bumps up the saturation, but it does something different and it gives it a nice look. And I do like the cyan blue, so I brought over the hues a little bit, and it was a little bit too purpley in the beginning, so I wanted to bring the blue back. Let's see what else I did. I did some post-crop vignetting. You can see a little bit here, just to really accentuate this central area. And I'm sure I did some saturation. No, I didn't even mess with the colors at all here. Look at that. That's crazy. I could though, if I wanted, I could bring those oranges. All right, it's a little bit too much. 27 is too much, probably about like 15. Yeah, that's fine. I probably don't need to mess with the blues, like that's too much. Just a slight. Okay, we'll keep it at like 10-ish. And anything else that I want to do here? Looking at the before and after, God, it's so different. Oh, you know what? I do like how her dress is white. So I'm going to add one more. I'm going to add a brush. All right, I'm going to go in here. And I'm going to do about 17. Let's see what that does. Yeah, that's making her dress white, because her dress is super blue, and I don't want that. So I'm going to bring back the white of her dress. A little bit slow around here. All the way down here. And I'm going to turn on to make sure all that is good. Sometimes this is good to see the areas that are affected. There we go. And then here as well. Now this might get some of her hair, but I don't think her hair is blue. So it should be okay. And then let's see here. So here's before. And then I'm gonna look for a nice white. That looks pretty good to me. So around 30, okay. Yeah, that looks good. I missed that. I didn't see how I missed that, but that's always good. Taking a break and going back to your photos so you can see the difference there. Okay. Everything's looking pretty good. And I think that's gonna be it for this one. I might go into the tone curve and bring up just a wee bit. I'm looking at my histogram over here. I mean, you can see the blues are already pretty bright. Let's see what that does. Yeah, looks nice. Just a wee bit. I don't think I need to bring down my darks. No, I like how dark it is already. All right, that's it. I'm gonna leave it just at that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Check out Darren's edit and follow along, do your own edit, and share with us. All right, thanks guys. See you next time.